This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
With no cash or cards, just take out your smartphone and a payment can easily be made in just a few seconds. Today we'll take a closer look at China's mobile payment services that are growing at a breakneck speed. You're welcome to The Point. I'm Li Xin. During Chinese New Year and on certain special occasions, Chinese people use hongbao or red envelopes to give money to relatives and friends as a show of good wishes. But with the advancement of mobile payment technology, sending digital hongbao rather than paper envelopes have become a new fashion. Today, joining me from Shenzhen in southern China is Ms. Cheng Ruozhu from Tencent, one of the very first companies to provide digital hongbao services. Ms. Cheng, thank you very much for joining me. First of all, how did Tencent come up with the idea of digital hongbao? And did you ever imagine that this innovative idea would become such a huge success?
Well, it is a traditional at Tencent and across Chinese society that at every New Year on the first working day, our senior executives will present physical red packets to all the staff. Well, as you know, the company grows bigger and bigger. It is not possible for everyone to get the red packets from their hands. So our product managers, they think about this wonderful idea, and at that time, none of us could imagine it has become such a phenomenon it is today.
Have you ever done any research about who are the most frequent users of mobile payments? Young people born in the 1980s and 1990s? What is the average level of their spending? Or is there any other interesting data that you want to share with us?
People here love cash. Just 1 to 2 years ago, before the rise of mobile payment, Chinese people pay for their purchases normally with cash and sometimes with debit cards, but rarely with credit cards. Mobile payments development was also helped by the fact that Chinese people's payment habits are at the earlier cultivation stage. The advent of various innovative payment use cases like digital red pockets, ordering a taxi or pay the bill at the restaurant, and other online to offline use cases helps popularize the use of mobile payment and digital wallets.
Over half of the instant messaging application Wechat users have been persuaded to link their bank cards to the application. That is a notable achievement given that the internet has been a hotbed of cybercrime, malware and scams. How were you able to win over the public on this issue?
Actually, two things help us earn the public trust. One was the motivation of our users. So why they want to link cards? They want convenience, and we finally found a new way to provide them what they wanted. WeChat Wallet is so easy to use. You can send a red pocket to your friends or family members when you just got one from them, and you can transfer the money with Wechat Wallet and save yourself the trip to the bank. And you will never worry about not having enough cash, since you can pay for the taxi fare, breakfast at roadside stand, or a meal at a restaurant with your cell phone. And this fast, convenient payment service is so easy to fall in love with, and you want to use it repeatedly. And this scenario and those payment scenarios really encouraged and motivated people to voluntarily link their cards to this app. And another reason why we earned the trust of our users was to show we care about and protect their money, not just by making promises. The regulator has extremely strict supervision of the payment market, and we follow those rules closely to create and maintain a healthy payment market. And also we have our own mature and standardized risk control system. This system helps us monitor and detect millions of transactions each second. And I can say the rate of fraud is extremely low, even compared with the traditional offline transactions. And we also cooperate with insurance company. Any losses or damages caused by fraud can get 100% compensation. So at this point, our company don't like risk and fraud any more than the customers do. And all the time, we reach out to our users to educate them and help them to better manage their risks and help them to define for their rights.
Finally, the promise of a cashless economy seems more and more likely. But is it really possible that cash will become a thing of the past in the near future? What timescales are we talking about?
I take myself as an example. I really have had more than 100 cash in my purse over the last half a year. Yes, I pay for the purchases with Wechat wallet, using it for almost anything and everywhere. So I really enjoy this mostly cashless life. I recommend this payment style to my friends and families. So since then, I will never trouble the bad awkwardness of not bringing enough cash, or annoyed by the lots of changes, heavy coins, and it saves me a lot of time. And WeChat do provide digital transaction records for me to check later. So I'm always thinking that when something brings you so much fun with so much convenience, and it is reliable and secure, why don't you want to use it? So
well, that's a good question. We are still relishing this experience, and we hope that it is perfect, but let's keep a close watch. We hope that it will become more secure, more convenient, and better services in the future, also with maybe a little bit of competition from other companies. Thank you very much, Chen Ruozhu, for joining us from Shenzhen. She is from Tencent, one of the very first companies to provide Hongbao services. Triangle, circle, or both? A story can take on a whole new meaning when looked at from a different perspective. I'm Li Xin. Join me as I seek the hidden truth, asking direct questions to get answers that are to the point. Challenge your perceptions Monday through Friday on CGTN and get to the point.
商场、超市啊，还有去那个饭店吃饭，我都会用这些。因为出门都很少带钱包啊之类的。能够用手机代替的都用手机代替嘛。
不过现在我觉得安全性还蛮高的吧。
已经用了很长时间了，从来也没说有什么意外吧之类的。在一般的公共的 WiFi 的情况下不会用，害怕就是如果我手机一旦丢了怎么办？
Mobile payment is just part of internet finance. To have more insight into the general picture of China's internet finance industry, we have Mr. Roger Ying, CEO of PAndai.com, one of the earliest online finance platforms in China. Mr. Ying, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We know that you are in the P2P internet finance business. Could you tell us what role mobile payment is playing in your business?
So mobile payment is having a huge disruptive effect. There's more and more increased adoption of mobile smartphones in China. Over something like 600 or 800 million people are now using smartphones, and mobile payments through the smartphones has made access to financing a lot easier. So for our business, we have a lot more target demographic which we can target. And one way we've leveraged this new innovation is access to financing for farmers in rural areas.
Mm-hmm. And tell us, how great is the public acceptance of online finance currently in China? Do people still trust traditional banks, or have they more or less gotten used to the idea of paying with a click on their cell phone?
Oh, the mobile adoption has been enormous. I think when you think of a traditional bank, the user experience is not always up to Web 2.0 standards or what you would see in Silicon Valley. And in terms of China, in terms of innovation in mobile payments, has totally leapfrogged the rest of the world. And in that sense, you see, using mobile payments is a day-to-day occurrence for everyone. I think you would rather take your smartphone out than actually, it's more important to have your smartphone than have your wallet on you.
It's very interesting. I noticed this because while I was in Switzerland, I lived there for 6 years, I never have to worry about, how shall I say, I never thought about using the cell phone to pay on a regular basis.
Right.
I always had my purse, I always had my credit card, I always had my Maestro card. But the moment I came back to China a few months ago, I realized that I didn't need my wallet with me almost.
And how do you feel about not having to use your wallet and paying through your phone? Do you feel it's a more enjoyable or more convenient user experience?
It's absolutely more convenient because I don't have to carry my purse, I don't have to carry my cards, I just have to carry my cell phone. And I think out of 10 times, maybe there's only one time I would meet somebody who does not have internet banking devices. How should I say? Very rarely I would be required to use cash for a payment.
Right, and this is a big trend because as well in India, there's been a big move towards demonetization. So the world is seeing the convenience also in the mobile payments and tracking payments, and avoiding such things as money laundering and etc. So with this is a big trend where we can track the payments and as well have better control of our finances. One thing the smartphone has given us is also secured encryption through, for example, finger point or voice recognition in our daily transactions, while maintaining that ease of convenience. For example, if you go to a convenience store, you can pay through your mobile phone today.
Yeah, everywhere. If I go and buy a coffee, if I take, I don't know, go to a street stand,
right,
everybody would be able to say, do you scan or do you pay cash? I scan.
Right,
Everybody's scanning.
Yeah. You scan me or I scan you.
Yeah.
And when you have dinner with friends, you split the bill using the Wechat Pay,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. But how is it possible that for China this has grown exponentially? How is it possible?
So I think in China, one thing is that the most advanced, all the manufacturers of smartphones are in China. So in terms of all the access and the cost of smartphones in China are lower than the rest of the world, and the amount of innovation that's happened, and in terms of costly or cheaper smartphones flooding the market while maintaining an effective usability.
So everybody has a smartphone. That is the prerequisite.
Yeah, everyone has a smartphone. And then on top of that, in terms of communication, we've been using Alipay and WeChat for a long time. And before, it wasn't so clear from using it on an online website, but using it on an online mobile device has become a lot easier, just because of the sense of security the mobile device has given us, with such things as scanning the QR code or using a fingerprint recognition. And this just increases the adoption of mobile payments. Once people see the ease of use, they want to keep using it over and over again.
I think another very interesting thing is what I noticed is I do much more online shopping in China since I came back than when I was abroad. Everything you need in your life you can buy online, and sometimes within an hour I get it delivered to my door. Let's not talk about the side effects of this kind of economy, but the convenience is incredible. And I think that's also a very important reason that online payment, that mobile payment is also so prevalent.
Right, from the online shopping as well as moving it towards the palm of your hand. And also before in online shopping in China, you would have to use internet banking, which was a pain to learn. But with the mobile adoption and the ease of use of mobile technologies and software, it's easier. For example, if you were to order something online today, you just scan it with you scan the QR code on your screen with your mobile phone to make the payment. And I book airline tickets, I book delivery services all through the mobile phone. So it's coupled with having great connectivity, increased software, better software, increased deregulation of the payment space, allowing these innovations to happen. And I think in this respect, on a total user basis, China is unmatched around the world.
Yeah, we were seeing Western reports about this mega application that's called Wechat. It's really, if you do not have Wechat, it's like you don't have an ID card.
Exactly.
And if you cannot have friends, you cannot live in China without this application, literally.
Wechat is like your own private social network, and it's changing the way we communicate, and it's changing the way we transact. We also communicate with a lot of our farmers using Wechat, making sure they have enough grain or fertilizer. So the way we are communicating and the way we're transacting is although it's shorter and less qualitative, but it's more faster and quicker.
Much more, yeah.
And this is helping, not only the rural economy be stimulated, but the way business moves also at an increased pace.
Yes. At the same time, while I'm enjoying this huge leap in convenience and efficiency, I'm also worried. First of all, when everybody is transacting through this mega application, does that not give too much power, too much data, too much information into this one company? This is one thing. Secondly, what about security? When you have extreme convenience, what comes with the potential risks that are involved? So
this is a very important question, and I think from the government standpoint, they have to really understand how to regulate the data of such companies as Tencent or Alibaba or even Jingdong. But from a consumer perspective, I would say, go as far as you're comfortable with while protecting yourself. Don't put all your eggs on one card that you use for security. But in terms of the encryption available that's in this mobile phone, that is, there's such things called tokenization, where tokenization of your data, that your data is actually completely anonymous. But that being said, anything is possible in today's cyber world. So I would still tread with caution, and go as far as an individual feels comfortable. But China has very strict data privacy laws, which I think they enforce very adamantly. It's good to know that, because sometimes you don't have a choice. when you're living 24 hours by your mobile phone, when everybody is doing that, you do whatever everybody is doing. Well, if we take it from the flip side, paying with your mobile phone can be safer than paying with your card, because sometimes you get fake magnetic strips. Sure. And this is something that's also been prevalent before. Are we more secure in this mobile payment age? We're more secure than using cards, if you want to call it that way. It's good to know, yeah. But from your perspective, what are the potential risks for you? Because you're online loan or finance business. You provide loans for people, for individuals, especially as you mentioned, for farmers who are traditionally disadvantaged in getting loans. So what are the implications for you? The implications for us are enormous. Before WeChat and the smartphone is that it was very tough to do verification of farmers with having your field partners visiting the farms and understanding who the farmer is. So without this instantaneous verification, it opens yourself up to a lot of fraud. So it's actually helping us de-risk our loans. And second of all is that the data that you can collect through the smartphone, as well as a user's smartphone and their phone records as well, gives us a better description of our clients, and we're therefore better able to assess risk. Moreover than that is farmers do have smartphones, surprisingly enough, and they are more and more using smartphones to transact as well as make payments. So this is something that was moving away from the cash world into a cashless society.
It's transforming our lives, and I don't know where the future would look like. I mean, maybe one day we will not even need that. Maybe just a chip implanted in our skin, and wherever we go, just scan our skin.
Well, then I would be very worried about data and tracking and having the power of one company knowing where you are at all time.
But definitely, this is the future direction we're going.
This is not only in China. China's, as I mentioned, leapfrog, but I think if you look at what's behind the demonetization in India, this is stimulating digital payments and e-wallets. They call it e-wallets in India, mobile payments in India, and a lot of countries are following suit. And it's almost like a filter down effect, meaning that countries around in the Southeast Asia region, as well as developing world, are learning from China in terms of a way that a development, an economy, a financial economy is developing is hugely and vastly different than previous Western economies have developed.
Yes. Finally, the Spring Festival gives a strong fillip to the Chinese economy. Does the so-called Spring Festival economy have a knock-on effect on your business sector?
Oh yes, for sure. I think for us is we have a lot of demand for loans for traveling and for people to go through the Spring Festival having a lower financial burden, if you want to call it. So we see a peak in loan demand.
Yes, yes. So these people, they're actually trying to borrow money to observe this period of a family reunion. Is that the case, or? Yes,
this is part of the case, kind of, because I think in the Spring Festival, you know, it's a low peak for business, and typically persons might need, you know, just a bridge or a bridge loan to kind of enjoy the Spring Festival more, or wish to travel to places they haven't seen before. And you know, you also feel that through this you feel that China's more and more moving towards a consumption and higher service needs economy every single day.
So people are actually borrowing money to consume, using tomorrow's money to live today's life.
That's it, for traveling or etc. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a couple of years ago, that was still unthinkable. I mean, we always pride ourselves as being a saver nation, a saving people.
Right. But what you see, I think, in the younger generation moving through, they see all the new innovations happening both in China and in the West, and they are more attuned to using these kind of fancier products. But the one thing is also amazing about mobile payments in China is also increased adoption from an older generation too. So
so not just young people are using scan me, scan you, older people as well.
Exactly, and you know, older people don't even carry a business card. They prefer to scan your WeChat and understand you from your WeChat.
Absolutely, it's really unbelievable. It's really amazing how things will change, and we better catch up with the trend and learn and adapt on a daily basis. Talking about catching up with the trend, everybody does a hongbao, a red envelope during the Spring Festival. Shall we exchange some goodwill?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, as we mentioned, WeChat, let's scan each other.
I think people overseas still don't understand how easy it is to use.
Yeah,
so.
Okay, so you have your barcode.
I have my barcode.
Yeah, let me scan you so that we'll be friends on WeChat.
And once we're friends on WeChat, we're friends for life. And let me wish you a Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. How do you wish me a Happy New Year? With a red envelope?
With a red envelope.
I'll return your goodwill. He has just sent me a red envelope, and now it has come up on my screen. If you can see on my phone here, now I have received this digital red envelope. Let me see how much money is in there. I have to tap in it, and Oh, Happy New Year! And here is a character which means open. So I'm tapping on that, and now it opens. 88 yuan. That's like 15 US dollars.
15 US
something
dollars.
like that. Okay, I'm going. So by tapping that on that, I'm already accepted
You've
it.
received. You have the money in your e-wallet. In your
So
WeChat
now
Pay already.
I have this 88 yuan in my e-wallet, and I can do the same thing by giving you the amount I want to give him back, which is again 88 yuan to be equal. I put it into the red envelope, and now it's asking me for my code. I'm not going to show you my code. I'm going to type in my code, and now it's paid back. Did you receive my red envelope?
I did. Thanks very much, and Happy New Year.
Thank you as well, and Happy New Year to you as well. That was Mr. Roger Ying, CEO of PAndai.com, one of the earliest online finance platforms in China. You're watching The Point with me, Liu Xing, here on CGTN. We'll take a short break, and my last point is coming right up. For those brought up using checkbooks and credit cards, the very concept of electronic payments still seems alien to the older generations outside China. But as we have been hearing, this brave new world of cashless society appears to be getting ever closer. Pessimists may still worry about online fraud and the lack of security using e-cash. But as secure systems become ever more reliable and the benefits of not having to carry around cash or bits of plastic with us, the lure of that cashless society will grow ever more attractive. The future seems unstoppable. Maybe in a few decades from now, we'll all look back with a wry smile as we tell our grandchildren about that funny system we all used to adopt, which involved handing over bits of metal and paper every time we wanted something. That's it for this edition of The Point on CGTN. I'm Liu Xing. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow at the same time.
This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.